Hello, I am starting new video here. After that tournament we watched last time, Magnus went to what I think is Moscow. He won the Aerosvit tournament with a great score of 8 out of 11. Eventually got second. Fortunately, I didn't find any game here that was that was so fun. So I'm moving on to the next tournament. It's the 21st Biel International Chess Tournament, 6-player tournament. And strangely enough, even if these are kind of lower rated players, I think Magnus didn't win it. Of course, both Alexeyev and Dominguez, especially Dominguez, has grown to a world-class player. He's but yeah, so I guess they were quite fine players also. But yeah, so Magnus' score of 6 out of 10 it's a fine score. So let's see here. I chose one more game against Etienne Bacrot. Looks like Magnus again try his best to win here, and then we will look at, I think that's a local player, Yannick Pelletier. Probably a little bit lower rated local player that plays that tournament. So let's look at the game against Bacrot, because he plays again, he plays the Semislav and Magnus go against. It would have been interesting to see if he goes for the main line here, this Moscow stuff, if Magnus would have done this one that he lost against Anand with, or he would have gone for Moscow. Would also be interesting to see, like, if this is known as the, no, it's not like this, it's like this. So this is known as the Butvinik variation in the Semislav. So what would be interesting to see if he had prepared this one, because this is a very complex opening. But Etienne Bacrot does that, and that signals that black wants to play a variation known as the Cambridge Springs variation, which goes like this. So if you don't want to go into that, you can take here like Magnus does. I've done that myself also to avoid that mess. And then you get to a fine variation of the Queen's Gambit, decline the exchange variation there, because you avoid those lines when black tries to put out his bishop. But of course, often black only wants to play kingside, maybe knight here, and maybe try to trade some pieces. But Magnus does something that's so he plays queen c2 here, and that's fine move. And here Etienne Bacrot goes for a line. I think it's Ulf Andersson who used to play this way. His play like this used to trade those bishops. And basically here white has a choice. He can try to play like positionally, maybe bishop e2 and short castle and so on. But as you can see here in the opening base, most people actually goes for the more interesting fun line, and it's to castle long here to get a more fun game. If black would do the normal stuff of castling short, then a pawn storm on the king side, and black trying to go here, it would be very interesting to follow. But what black can do to counter this, as I see he does in the game, is that he could also try to castle queenside, basically, to so Magnus, he plays an interesting maneuver here, knight d2, knight b3. It's obviously looking to go here, but it doesn't do so much. Even if it gets here, black can just try to trade it. So it's an interesting maneuver. So it looks like the point of this maneuver was to play f3 and then e4, and then this pawn is covered here. But actually not. So just being a little bit stupid. Why can't it take here? Okay, it gets lost like this. Yeah, J first threatens has to do that. And if he takes it now, yeah, it's still that pin. Apparently that's still fine. Yeah, okay, because he can pin back here. So maybe that was a way for black to equalize, to take that one, but it was quite a long forced variation there. So here I think it does something interesting. White, it looks kind of good for black here. White has weakened his pawn, and this one, but instead of defending h3, he's trying to push a pawn here to get some attack, especially now when he opens the e file. Maybe it would have been safer for black to play like this. Then apparently white should try to trade it. It would have been another game, but taking such a pawn is sometimes a bit dangerous, especially if you can go here now. It looks like black can counter by something like this. Still getting a rook in like that is usually quite good. But maybe better to start with this one. Now this rook here is maybe a bit more of a threat. So here, black, this was apparently an inaccuracy. More solid would 96 have been. Okay, but he can still take here. Okay, and this one is quite nice. Now this one is hard to defend, and black can maybe get his own play here. So black took here, and here made a big blunder apparently. Best would this one have been? And d4 counter attack, and then knight b5, I guess. Yeah, this looks fine for black. Let's see how the variation finishes. Apparently this is, I would like to see a few more moves. How this ends. Okay, can go here also, maybe that's safer. Okay, now this can't draw today. This is a threat, obviously. So you can counter it by this, or trading queens. Trading queens is better, of course. Okay, so why is this bad then? It's not obvious what white has gained for pushing the pawn to b4, because it was, okay, it wasn't really like this, but apparently this knight is too weak here now. So he has to check. So what about that one? Okay, so here is tactic here that you can take here. Apparently this, then you just win the piece here. So black is losing a piece because this is too weak. So if you go here, okay, then white gets an attack here. This also looked bad for black, so it's maybe this one loses on the spot, but the other line also looked lost. Queen h4 also looked lost for black here, so I guess this was the decisive mistake when he put this one here. So maybe he should have gone here, actually. Okay. Yeah, Magnus is often very lucky. He has like a deeper positional understanding, because this looks like completely unclear to me, and I'm sure it looked clear very unclear to Bacrot also, but Magnus has I think it must have been something conscious, like in his some kind of subconscious positional understanding in his brain, because I kind of don't think he can calculate everything. So, but he seems to always navigate these complicated position the best. So the problem with this is that c6 is a big attack, and if it takes okay. Yeah, he will win. No. He has a winning attack here apparently. Mate in 20. Okay, so what I'm taking from this game is this. If you want an interesting game, go for the long castling, and maybe this knight's maneuver is fine before you start pushing the pawns if blacking castling queenside. Also, like I'm pretty sure if I played like this as white, then all my pawns would just fall and I would get nothing. But Magnus has this medical positional understanding that's far above my own chess ability. Yeah, and this was apparently a losing mistake here. So but wasn't so easy to see here for Bacrot. Okay, next time we are looking at Pelletier against Carlsen. See you then.